The name is Brandon Groce. And we are the Game Changers. The name is Brandon Groce. And we are the Game Changers. Designers, creatives alike. We are in a world that runs on value. Our next designs will be the shiniest. Our next animation will be the most buttery. Ladies and gentlemen, Game Changers, let the games begin. What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Happy Friday. I'm super excited to be here with you guys. Ran a little late today. Had a whole bunch of things. My cat needed his collar fixed. I was trying to get my coffee done and ready. A lot of things were happening, but regardless, I'm happy to be here. We have Ty, we have Tom, Miguel, long time no see. Tom, Happy New Year. Miguel, Golden Rose, what's happening? Sarah, glad to see you guys. Changing game in every lane. Indeed we are, we in every lane, all the time. All right, guys, so what we're gonna do today, just to give you guys some context, is I always say Monday, because I think it's really like the first work day for me. Tuesdays. Monday's my whole planning day, but today we're gonna continue on from what we did on Tuesday. I'm gonna show you guys when we get to the office what exactly we did. Speaking of that, I haven't yet to even call GroceBot to make sure the office is prepared for me, so I gotta do that now. I'm gonna text him. But I would like to know, how are you guys doing? What's your day like? What's going on? We have Jameson in the chat. We have Lil J Beats. What's going on? We have Buchan. What's happening, guys? Over on YouTube. Glad to have you. So, yeah, we got all of the GCs in the game. We got Tanja from Atlanta, GA. Welcome. Tanja says, nice ride. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Now, you guys know how this goes. I like to make sure. Actually, I don't even think I finished what I was saying. Yeah, when we get to the office, I'll show you guys what it is that we worked on for those of you guys who are new to today's channel. But basically, on Tuesday, we created a Nintendo Switch video game in Adobe XD. And today, we're going to be taking that design and bringing it into a new platform called Editor X. And we're going to try to make that website as quickly as possible, which I'm super excited about. I'm curious to know, have you guys heard about Editor X? It's by Wix. It's a new platform that it's still in beta, it's in the works, but I've been messing around with it, and I kind of like how it transpires, how easy it is to use. So, still learning it, but I wanted to show you guys how that works. And before we begin, do not forget to hit that like button, and if you dig my ride, or you're excited about what we're going to get into, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you guys get notifications when we go live every Tuesday, now Thursday, and Friday at 9 a.m. EST. So with that said, GroceBot, you awake? Okay, cool. Bring me on in to the office, please. And let's make sure everything's okay at the office, right? All right, cool. All right, let's go. I'll see you guys at the office. Alright, guys, for those of you guys who are new, by the way, this is my indubitably delicious home. We're still trying to figure out what this is going to be called. I have no idea. I was thinking about Game Changers, something, but I'm not entirely sure. I mean, we got Groce Mobile and we got my home, but XD Towers, we got some things we want to change up. So I'm always taking some opinions or what have you, suggestions on what to call this place. But other than that, let's go inside. Alright, guys, so like I said, we are going to be working on some pretty cool stuff today. I saw some of you guys in the chat knowing that Editor X is a Webflow competitor. And yes, it is. Tanjo says, so cool. Yeah, indeed. Jubeed says, which car is that? It's the Groce Bot edition made by Tesla. You know, I had to hire out to Elon Musk. I was like, look, listen, we have so many things we got to create. How much is it going to cost to make a smart city, an AI, and a super dope car? It's pretty expensive, but it was worth it. It was worth it. Golden Rose says, maybe call it G City. Maybe. Robin said this place should be called Dope Town. I'm taking polls. And by the way, guys, if you end up enjoying this, or you guys are creatives looking for an amazing community to really come together to help improve your skills, whether you're a graphic designer, UI, UX designer, illustrator, 3D artist, motion designer, come join our Discord. We have amazing, almost 700 creatives from all over the world internationally that are photographers, graphic designers, the entire group list I just mentioned that are sharing the... I don't know why this coffee gets me so much gas, but I'm just like every other word I'm like, help! What's it called? And now it's just erased my memory. Basically, in our Discord, we help each other, regardless of what type of creative we are, to help each other move closer to improving our skill set or just getting a little bit better every day. So you want to join that. Most of the people in the chat are from the Game Changers, but if you aren't and you want to continue to join in our amazing conversations 24/7, come join. First link down in the description. Buchan says you are a born entertainer, Brandon. I'm glad. You know what? To be honest, I really do think that it's just the coffee that makes me entertaining. I swear. Paul, thank you so much for the follow. All right, let's get into this. All right. So what we are doing today, and if you guys missed this, I'm a huge lover of Nintendo, Zelda, Donkey Kong, all this good stuff. By the way, this is not something that was totally inspired by me. This was made by the amazing, let's go out and check his work real quick. Dun-dun-dun. By the amazing Elijah. He does some really cool work on Dribble. So I don't want you guys to think that this is 100% something that I created. The only thing that we did on Tuesday is we just built it from scratch. So we decided to make all of our own assets, things of that nature. And what we did end up doing yesterday is I decided to play around a little bit with Editor X. And I got fairly close. To this website. So you guys can see at the top you have created by Editor X. I think I exported my button out a little funny. We're going to fix that today. But basically what I messed around with last night was getting this site to be responsive. So you got, what is this? A tablet version. And this is still not where I want it. So what we're doing today, I was just putting this together to figure out, okay, how does this work? And here today, we're going to figure out how to do it actually and beautifully. I was just trying to get the concept last night so I didn't come up and show up in front of all of you guys and be like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but we're still going to have a little bit of that today, which is fine. Learning curves, ladies and gentlemen. Henry, what's going on, my man? You have missed nothing, but I did want to say, because you were super excited about learning about Editor X on Tuesday, that's exactly, and the only thing that we're really going to be focusing on today. We're going to do an entirely new project. Well, this is the finished one. I just wanted to kind of show you what I was working on for a little bit last night, but now we're just going to throw that in we're not going to throw it in the trash, but we're going to create a whole new website. I'm going to skip this because we don't need to answer that. And we're just going to start with a blank canvas. One of the cool things about Editor X, though, is that they come with a whole bunch of pre-made templates that if you're really in a rush, like for example, I think it would be really great for a lot of designers who are just trying to get their portfolio up, it's super simple. It's basically you're replacing text and assets. Think about it as Squarespace, except you don't even have to go into a backend. You're just typing things on top of the website, which is awesome. All right, so what we're gonna mess with first. So let's go back to our editor X, or excuse me, our there's so many X's, Adobe XD. We're gonna go back to Adobe XD, and we already have some of the, Henry says you need new earbuds. Actually, you know what? I think my left ear is just a little weird. My right ear keeps the earbuds in nice and smooth. All right, so what I'm gonna do here. Oh, you know what I missed last night? I forgot about this little, this rectangle here. So what I have already done is I have exported all the assets I need into this folder here. So I don't need to do anything anymore pretty much in Adobe XD. The only thing maybe I need to do is figure out what this font is, because we might need to bring it into Editor X. So I'm just going to start from, indeed, too much X. I'm going to just delete some of this stuff here. I just want a full blank canvas. I don't want a header. I'm going to leave the footer. And what I'm going to start off with is I'm going to get our menu items. So I'm going to hit this plus. Actually, how do I want to do this? I'm going to grab a container. Or actually, no, I'm going to grab a section. And by the way, for those of you guys who are new to Editor X, they have a whole library regarding how to actually use it. I went through about like maybe 23 sessions or sessions last night, and it was nothing too crazy. It was pretty straightforward. Some of the things I kind of had to figure out with, they had like certain, if you guys are familiar with Webflow, they give you certain like homework assignments to figure stuff out, which is pretty helpful. Alright, so I'm going to just upload some of my media here, or really all of them. So I'm literally just going to go and click all of this. Get all my buttons. We don't need link twice. And get these cards. There you go. Gonna upload all them good things. Wait for it. There you go. Yeah, so this button here, I'm just gonna click on it. Some of it is cut off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back into our Adobe XD, not that one. Did I close out at Adobe XD? Alright, I think we're gonna need a better cutout of this, because I did not like at all how it exported. Let me see how to do this. I'm gonna copy this. Actually, I'm gonna export. How do I want to do this? Because it exported from XD, but it looked like it was cut off, and I didn't necessarily like that. I'm gonna try opening this in Photoshop just to make sure that it wasn't something that Editor X did. Because I was trying to figure out for a while last night. I was like, is this me? Or is this something else? Alright, and while we're doing this, guys, okay, this isn't the fun part. I want to know, if you guys are very familiar with me, you guys know how I like story time, you guys know that I'm very curious about what you guys are up to. So with that said, what are you guys looking forward to today? What are you guys looking forward to during the weekend? I'm going to give this button a little bit of space and then just resave it. So what's happening for your guys' weekend? What's in the loop? What's happening? Alright, I'm going to just close that, and I'm going to go back to Editor X, and I'm going to delete this very quickly. Move to trash, and I'm going to upload another one. Dun-dun-dun. And by the way, can you guys hear the music? Yes, no, yay, nay. Hey, what's going on? Hi, what's going on? Over on the YouTube side of things. Alright, that looks like a better button. That button isn't cut off or anything. Golden says I need to come up with a new wait, I need to come up with. Wait, hold on. What did I ask? What is everybody saying no to? What is all in? I'm lost, guys. Thank you for putting that in the chat, Henry. Alright, so first thing I did is by the way, if you guys are very familiar with, oh, there is no music. Alright, let's fix that. Let's fix that. See, this is what happens when people are like, turn down the music! And then it like just ends up just not having any music. Thank you guys for answering that. Yes. Golden is like, Brandon doesn't remember anything. Let's put both what he has. Alright, you guys got the music? Alright, cool. Let me see. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do, and by the way, I'm kind of going to like teach this and do this at the same time, so it's going to take a little bit longer. So if you guys are familiar with anything like Photoshop, Adobe XD, there's layers in this. And the way that this kind of breaks down is in sections. What we're going to do is we're going to build out the menu first. Where is the... Oh, I pulled up the wrong thing. We are going to pull up... Why does it never show me? Okay. We're going to start out making the menu first. So we have our Nintendo icon. We have our menu bit here with our little underline here, and then our just menu items. That's not going to take too much time. It's literally, I'm going to drag I've already made a section that is going to have our menu. I'm going to right click into it, quick add a container. Or do I want to add a container? I don't think so. I think what we're going to do is we're just going to add our elements here. So we're going to have our logo. I'm going to make sure that it is within our first menu section. It is. Perfect. And then I'm just going to drag in a default menu. So I'm going to go to that plus. I'm going to go to menu, and I'm just going to grab the super basic one. Let me see. I think this one's good. And I'm just going to drag that inside of our container. I know it's inside our container, or excuse me, our section, because it says it is right here, menu. And now I'm going to just drag this all the way across. And I'm going to add some menu items in here. So right now, it only has home. All I'm going to do is I'm going to add new link. And just for the sake of right now, I'm just going to literally, because I don't have any pages in here. But I do want links. So I'm just going to make some fake links. Henry's asking, do you watch the Adobe XD Creative Challenges? I do, actually, and they are very awesome. Sarah says, not much going on here. We're in our third. Oh no! And it's snowing again. Going to spend some more time in Webflow over the weekend. Nearly have my portfolio redesigned finished. Yo, that's awesome. What is going on with everybody else's weekend? I'm excited to, I think after this, because what I would love to do is not only show you guys this, Editor X, but there's a lot more control in Webflow, and I would love to kind of showcase that as well, too. Okay, going back to our menu, I'm going to change some of these names. So instead of home, I'm going to name this games. I'm going to name, what is the other thing that we got? Game Switch Support Cart. And we will definitely come back in. Hey, what's going on, Ibrahim? How you doing, my friend? How's your day? What's going on? And we will bring in the icons and whatnot in there in just a bit. But let's see, we're gonna add in our new section because we're gonna start putting this next piece in. We're gonna do our Nintendo Switch, our icon or our button, and then our whole little art piece here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a section here. I'm gonna do a grid. I'm gonna do 1x2. So I want one row, but I want it cut in half. Just like this. Golden says they did a mock-up website in Webflow earlier this week, and it was much easier than I thought it would be. They have really tightened up their entire experience. And I'm really excited to kind of jump back into it. You know, I haven't used Webflow. I say I haven't used Webflow, but literally all the websites that I own are in Webflow. So we're gonna... I really wanted to before, because I have a website that I need to build. I have to build, I'm in transition of building a new website and some other things, and that's why I wanted to kind of practice with Editor X. Something new, I want to test it out, and see where that kind of takes us. Hi says, Editor X same as WordPress, is it true, bro? No, WordPress is busted. I had a friend try to ask me to help them with their WordPress, and man, it just brought back so much PTSD. I'm not down with it. WordPress is like a dinosaur. Now, what I would like to do, I'm gonna add a quick title. I'm just gonna right click, quick add title, and I'm not seeing it for whatever reason. Let me see. Okay, that for some reason took really long to load because it's all here. All right, I'm gonna go with our first one. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna make it center over here. Well, not necessarily center, but one thing I do need to do is I need to upload the font that we're using because we're not using Poppins. I wonder if we can grab Futura somehow. Yeah, Golden says I did not like WordPress. I don't know who would, to be honest. It was like way back in the day to be, you know, something that was pretty strong, but now it's like people start to look at you a little funny if you out here using WordPress. What's we call it? Golden says, and to my surprise, Howard Pinsky's site is on WordPress, I think. I wonder, we have to check that out. I wonder. Tanja says, yes, it is. In the process of switching to Squarespace. I even like Squarespace better than WordPress. Guys, I don't know where Futura is on my... Alright, we will work on this. Alright, let's just get the foundation. And then we will go back and do all the fonts and stuff. Alright. Nintendo Switch. Okay. And we can change the size and whatnot. Let me just go back here for reference. I need, this is really thick. This is Futura extra bold. I'm gonna see if I can just type in Futura extra bold to save lives out here. Man, Henry's got them good links out for today. Alright, so very quickly. Alright, let me see. I'm like low-key scared. Hold on. We're gonna jump backwards. I don't like this site. It's scaring me. Ibrahim says, how exactly do office hours work? I'm considered joining your Patreon. So Ibrahim, how the office hours work is we bi-weekly meet. Like, for example, today we're meeting at 2 p.m. EST, and we're meeting for about an hour or two to talk about anything regarding, really anything you guys are dealing with in your struggles. Like the first week, we talked about how to find the specific client you would like to work for, how you actually figure that out, how to actually approach them, and how you might pitch them if you've never even talked to them before. I think the next time we talked about pricing, how I do my particular pricing. We went through my spreadsheets, how to use them, and all the math. And then this week we have a couple line items that people want to talk about, but we have yet solidified what exactly we want to talk about during our meeting today. But basically, we have a group. We all put into a pot what we want to discuss, and then during our actual conversation, we all vote on what exactly we want to spend our hour or two on. So, I would say it's pretty beneficial. And I believe that the people who are in it as well would agree. Dasha, what's happening? Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Hey, hi. So WordPress or Editor X is better, bro? Honestly, I don't know about Editor X just yet. Like, that's why we're testing stuff out here today. I don't necessarily have a concrete feeling about it, especially with it still being in beta. But WordPress, I would not even, like, you can't pay me to go back in there. No. Tanja says, where do you join? That is a great question. If you're on Behance, you guys should see on the right-hand side my Patreon, but I can also just pop this in the chat if you guys are interested. Right now we have 4 Patreons, or excuse me, 5. But let me see. Dun, dun. I don't want to spend like all this time looking at for Fritura. Like, this is taking so long. I might just download it again. Okay, here we go. Extra bold. That's all I need. I'm gonna just take this and bring it to the desktop because I'm tired of playing these games. All right, we're gonna go here. Upload font. Hey, what's going on, Kyle? Says Shot. This is super cool. I'm new to Behance. Well, welcome. Welcome. All right, I'm gonna upload my font. I'm gonna go to desktop, grab this, finally. All right, let's see. I'm gonna grab extra bold here. Done. And that should be Futura. Dia, thank you so much for the follow, my friend. Oh, I was about to type Dia. Let me see it. Futura. Here we go. Extra bold. Where did the font... Where did it go? It's my question. Okay, there we go. Nintendo Switch. There's a space that we do not need. I'm gonna delete that. I'm gonna line this up just like this. All right, what else we got? We need a paragraph. We have a button. So what do I use for my site? My site, I use Webflow. Let's see. So this site, I used Webflow. I literally made it in like half a day. It's nothing too special at all. I just slapped things together. Probably didn't even slap it together right because I was in such a rush. And now I'm kind of looking for alternatives. You know, I'm sure I made this like a year and a half ago. Webflow's made a lot of, you know, different good changes. So now I'm just looking to, let's see. I'm trying to find like what to do next. You know, there's a lot of interesting things. Like, for example, if you guys remember at Adobe Max, there was a there was, if you guys remember the Adobe Sneaks or the Sneaks, there was talk about this program that implemented within Adobe XD to where you literally could create websites out of Adobe XD. I think it was like smart something sync. All I remember was the sync name to it. So yeah, I don't know. I was very intrigued by that. I don't know when that would be possibly coming out. But I thought that was I was very interested in that. All right, what next? I need to go back to my media. I'm gonna go and grab my button. I'm gonna just pull this out. And what I like about this is, just like in Adobe XD, you can, after designing it, you still have the grid, right? I can still line things up, which is excellent. Okay, I got my buy now. By the way, will there be case studies of the week soon? Ibrahim, that's a good question. I'm still thinking about whether or not I want to do case studies of the week. I haven't got there just yet. However, your case studies have been awesome. There's been a lot of cool case studies. I'm thinking like, for our weekly challenges, should they be challenges based on people making their own projects and just who has the best showcase of them? Or should they be challenges that we all vote on doing and just seeing who has the best one of those? So I haven't really figured that out and would love to know. For those of you guys who have joined our Game Changers Discord and who've really taken part in the challenges, what have you guys felt has been like cool? What would you guys like to have changed? Things of that nature. All right, let me see something here. I wanted to. Gotcha. All right. So now that we have, I'm gonna check something, my layers really quick. All right, so everything seems to be in order. We have our sections, we have our bits here. One thing I wanted to do, because what I don't want to have happen, so what Editor X does is, if you guys see this little grid thing here, it's this whole section that I have is cut in half. You have this part and you have this part. But everything is still kind of like floating within the section, and I kind of don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a category. I'm going to right click, quick add container. Did I say a category? I meant container. I'm going to just drag this over to where I want to house all this content. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add these bits. I'm going to add Avenir or our paragraph into our container. Let's see if I can add this stuff in. I should be able to. Yep, there we go. And I'm just copying and pasting, and I'll fix them in just a second. I just want them inside the container first, and then I'll fix everything. The reason I want that is because when we start getting into the mobile stuff, I want to be able to just drag around the container. And I don't want to have to drag the individual bits. I just want to, right here, I can just drag the container and all this stuff is moving rather than moving all the individual pieces. So boom, boom, boom. But guys, I would love to know, yes, I'm designing all this cool stuff, whatever. But I want to know, what's always been really intriguing to me is, what is one of the most challenging things for you guys as designers when it comes to not your work, because I think the work that we do is probably the easiest portion we have the easiest time with. That's what we're skilled in. But when it comes to maybe freelance, when it comes to maybe finding clients, what exactly do you tend to find you got yourself struggling with is my question. And struggling doesn't have to be something that's negative. What is one thing that you would like to be better at is, I guess, another way of asking that question. Did I just delete the O? Alright, boom. Make sure these are in place. Whoops. 2 lines. There we go. Now, what I'm going to try to do, let me see. Nope, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just going to play around with a couple things here, guys, because things can get a little funky very quickly. Hey, what's going on, Anthony? What's poppin'? Sishat says, I'm a fine artist. I have a lot of clients asking for digital work. I just transitioned, and it's a balance with customer needs of beauty, but also functionality. In terms of, so what is the functionality piece? I'm actually really curious for, as a fine artist. That's not something I'm really, I don't know the, what goes into that in particular. So I'm curious what that entails for you. Hey, what's going on, Samantha? Golden says, I'm new to all of it, so I feel I haven't learned enough to make a sincere go at freelancing. Well, let me ask you this. What thing do you believe that you need to learn in order to kind of dive into freelancing? Like, what is the one thing, or what are the things that you believe you need? Like, if you could list them, that would make you feel comfortable in taking a dive. Like, can you identify the things that you feel you're lacking? And I'm using the term lacking only because of how you described what's holding you back. Hey, what's going on, Lionel? Good morning, everybody. Anthony says, chillin'. I'm glad. Lionel, hey. Ibrahim says, actually, I'm really struggling with words these days. I thought I could express myself clearly, but these days, also, when designing the copy is the hardest thing for me. I'm not even gonna lie to you, copy is very challenging. I do not, usually when I'm gonna delete this whole section. I'm gonna make a new one. I'm gonna add a section here, add a grid. I'm gonna do a 4x1, so I have like 4 little columns. 1, 2, 3, 4 in order to put our cards. But in terms of copy, I always work with a copy editor. Because words, I put lorem ipsum in. I don't know what I'm saying. You guys hear me on the stream. I can barely pronounce my own name, people's names, my own city. It's challenging. Not everybody is good at everything. Like, imagine a human being that is good at everything. They would be perfect to a point where they're not interesting. And so as we start, or one thing that I really learned that helped me immensely is that I don't have to do everything, but what is better is to broaden my network of people who are in the same line of work that do the things that I suck at. And that way, when I get a project, they get a project too. And that way, and vice versa. When they get a project with something that they're good at, maybe they bring me in for things that they're not good at. That way, you're building a network that brings you work rather than you being the sole pillar of you having to get your work, you having to do everything. Like, just talking about that and thinking about all that just kind of like killed me inside. I don't know about what you guys think about that. But I'd love to know what you think about that. Lionel says charging the right price for a project. My friend, we actually just did. So in our Patreon, we did a full session on clients and pricing. We talked about, and I still have to upload. We went on for about 2 hours discussing how to find work, but also how to price your work. And it's not just an arbitrary, like there's a math equation to figure out how much you should be charging. And also there is a math equation to figure out, hey, I want to make $250,000 a year. What do I need to charge per project to kind of get there? So very important stuff. Again, Patreon stuff is over to the right if you guys are curious at taking a look at it. But these are all the questions that we kind of discussed during our office hours. But Golden says, I started out learning GIMP and Inkscape. I'm coming to Adobe, the industry standard, feeling inadequate. So Golden, is the only thing that you feel, and by the way, while I'm answering these questions, basically what I'm doing is I'm just pulling in these assets that we pulled in earlier and putting them in the boxes where we want them to be. So I'm pulling in actually, I'm gonna get out of here real quick. Media, show more, this, add to page. I'm gonna pull this into our little box here. So that's all I'm doing. I'm just adding media, and then we'll figure stuff out as we go. But is the inadequacy just the tool? Is it just you feel like you don't know the tools? Is that just it? I'm just trying to figure out, just so when I kind of provide an answer, that it is in context. Because that's totally natural, you know? I'm not 100% A-okay with Editor X. I'm literally here in front of 50 people trying to figure out a little bit more than what I figured out yesterday. And I'm like, internally, let me just explain it. Internally, I'm like, I know a good bit to kind of get through this. But then there's going to be people watching, and honestly, I know there's just like a lot more that I don't know. There will always be more that I don't know than what I do know. But it's the confidence in the ability, in my ability to actually learn how to get better, that instills confidence. We're faced with probably more things in the day that we don't know how to do than the things we know how to do. So I'm just answering this question kind of like how you're saying you may feel some inadequacy. But we kind of also have to ask to ourselves, like, to what degree? Because there will always be more things that we're not good at than we're good at. Unless we make the life that we want to kind of push away the things that we're not good at. But if the things that we're trying to be good at or want to be good at are in the direction that we're trying to go, like, we need to learn some of them things. But I don't think you're inadequate at all. You know, you are very adequate at design. You used GIMP and Inkscape. Those are just different tools. You have the adequacy of design. There's just now new tools in the game. So how adequate are you at learning? That's really what we got to ask ourselves. And I feel like if you learned GIMP and Inkscape, which I have no idea how to use, and I'm sure if I opened them up, I would stumble heavily. The fact that you were able to learn non-industry standard skill sets or tools showcases that you have the ability to learn things that aren't highly covered. Taking that time that you spent to learn there over in Adobe, there's so much resources for stuff in Adobe and other platforms. So I think, you know, just think about learning. Don't think about your current skill set. Anthony says, I'm waiting on a few job offers, so I will have to watch you on demand soon. What does that mean? There seems to be a lot of companies that need UI UX designers, but they're also always brag about their developers. Well, hold on. Developers don't make things that look exciting or easy to use. Truth. Wow, there's so many. There's so many. So true. I like 3D animation. I'm so confused. Learning Blender, Adobe XD, Cinema 4D, whatnot. Oof. Yeah, that's a lot. Just instead of picking, all right, we'll do a quick talk time. Because hold on, I have to roll out at 11. Okay, we'll just do a quick talk segment and then we'll get into this. This is not going to take too much time. But instead of learning a whole bunch of skills, figure out like what is the thing you want to do. So right now my goal is to how can I make websites faster? What do I need to learn in order to make websites faster? Well, Webflow is there, I know, cool. Well, there's this new thing called EditorX. Well, let me check out what this does so I can kind of make a decision between the two, because I know Webflow is pretty fast. EditorX, let's see. If you want to be making really cool 3D design environments, do you need to know Adobe XD for that? What do you need to know in order to make what it is that you want to make? Like, those are the questions that you should ask yourself. So if you're trying to make 3D, only focus on 3D stuff. If that's the job, the environment that you want to work within. So it's always asking, where do I want to be? In order to get where I want to be, what are the things that I need to have in my skill set to do that effectively? And then just ignore everything else. Ibrahim is asking, how comfortable are you with EditorX right now? What are the difference between EditorX and Webflow? So the difference between, my comfortability, it's pretty good. Where it starts to get a little funky is, I'll show you guys where it gets a little funky, because there's still stuff like this. Putting this together is pretty easy up until a point. Like, for example, like desktop is pretty done right now. But when we start getting into, like, if I click over to this, like I have to, this is, what's it called? Mobile. There's certain things that I have to, or this is not mobile. This is, what's it called? Tablet. There's certain things that I have to move that I wasn't really comfortable with yesterday. But I think in my sleep I learned a little bit better. So let's see. Let's go and click on this image. Let's push this down. And in terms of, I think, what is the next part of the question? Oh, you know what? Let's go back here. So what I like about this versus Webflow is that there's actually, hold on. Oh, that's why. Okay, I remember. I need to make a container. And why I need to make a container is, if you guys saw something that just happened, is I attempted to make this, there was like a shift. Let me show you again. So this image, when I moved here, right, to tablet, something funky happened. Like, it messed up the Nintendo logo, and I was like, why did it do that? And it's because of how I have the Nintendo logo kind of moving, or how, if you guys look over here where this says like docking, I have this set up to, what docking really means is, hey, when the screen is flexed, or the when responsiveness comes into play, how exactly do you want this particular element to react? And I had it docking to the bottom, so basically the entire element was looking at what is the relation between this element and the bottom of the website, or the bottom of this container. I don't need that. I just need it to stay at the top and the same distance from the left. Or maybe we might just keep it at the top. Samantha says, awesome, I would definitely consider your words. I'm glad. Brandon, is there a way to change the font weight? Example being bold, light, and extra bold? Yes, indeed, there is. You just click on it, you edit text, and I just downloaded I put a particular font, but if I decided to do, let's go with like Arial Black, or hold on.
trying to find a font that has different. Oh, nope. Not that. That's actually a good question. Oh, okay. This is how they have it. Helvetica Bold, Helvetica Light, and then you have Helvetica. So I think they have it instead of like in editor or in Adobe XD where you would literally just have the font name and then you would change it to like light, medium, what have you. They just have them listed out as the thing to change it to. Like the very specific font. Alright, so let me go back to what I was trying to do before I lose my place. Alright, so we're going to go back to the menu bit here. We're going to add a container. That was interesting. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no, no, no. Let me see. Give me a second, guys. Just need to make sure I didn't get any importante messages. All right, cool. Let's go back. All right, going back, section, container. All right, let's move this in the correct place. Actually, nope, here, section. Quick container, boom. I'm gonna pull this in. All right, the reason I'm pulling this in is, you guys, if I go back to, I'm gonna go back to our reference really quick. I'm gonna make the width of this 100%, so it goes from one end of the screen to the other. I'm gonna center it. All right, so what we have here in our reference is we have this border here. We have this little line. It's like a gray opaque. So that's what we want. Right now it is on top of everything and it is borders all around. What we're gonna do actually is we're gonna do like a, not 100%, we're gonna do like 103% because we don't wanna see the actual edges. And I'm gonna pull it up just a little bit as well. All right, I'm gonna go to my layers. Henry says, I'm staying at your house on Google Maps. I'm glad. I welcome you. I have a bed ready for you. All right, let's see. Container. All right, what we want to do is we want to have our menu inside of our container. Or actually, I don't think we need to. Or maybe we do. Yeah, let's do that. We're going to Control X and Control C so that our menu is inside of our container. Just for organization purposes, we're going to go to our container, we're going to right click, or actually we're going to go to change design, we're going to go to the border, and we're going to reduce the opacity just to like 30%, so now we have a little gray. We're going to go back to our layers. And this image, our Nintendo image, we want on top of the menu container so the line doesn't go on top of it. There we go. All right, so we have the desktop portion of this pretty well figured out. Let me see, I'm gonna pull this up a little bit. So going back to why I like this a little bit more so far, kind of. There's portions of it that I like than, let's say, Webflow. Is I'm able to maneuver things. I'm able to push, pull, drag things in super simply. All right, let's start messing with this mobile or this tablet version. So what needs to happen here is instead of fluid, I'm gonna type in, or I'm not gonna type in, I'm gonna click fixed. What that means is I want this logo to not change or maneuver at all. Henry says, you got anything good in the fridge? I have rice and salmon. So see, now after I put fixed, it doesn't do that responsive thing. It's going to stay that exact same size that I want it to. And I'm going to take our menu here, and it got sized down. So I'm going to just drag it out. And now, as you guys can see, some stuff gets funky here. The only reason that is because of how we've kind of docked things. Remember what I was talking about, like how over here, where it's just like, hey, and what docking means, it's EditorX's way of being like, okay, we're gonna make sure that anytime this resizes, we're gonna keep the same distance. In this case, it's 104 pixels from the top of this section to where the beginning of this asset is. We don't want all that. Tanju, you're just getting into EditorX, but you're maneuvering very well. That's another thing that I really like about it. It's very, what is it? It's very like user friendly. I've only, to be really honest, I've only been working in this twice. Oh, this will be my third time. But I read all the tutorials. It makes a lot of sense. It's not hard to use whatsoever. And it has really simple concepts. Like if you guys saw that, I just docked everything to the bottom. So now everything here is level. If you guys see that. So all I would really need to do is just reduce the size of this section. So I'm just going to reduce it to like 200. And I can keep reducing it if I wanted to. I'm going to reduce the top section, just like that. Let's see. Nah, we don't need to do all that. So I reduced the top section here. What else? I'm actually going to pull this whole entire section up. Again, remember on the, on the desktop where I wanted to do the container rather than the individual portions? That is exactly why. So I can move everything at once rather than having to move individual portions. I'm gonna move this up just here. And pull this down just a bit. And this actually feels a lot easier than what I was doing yesterday. I'm going to take this section, I'm going to reduce it even more, maybe to like 150. And let's see, can I go back to desktop here? I'm going to try docking this to the sides now. So I have it docked to the bottom, to the left, to the right. And let's see what this does. Do I want it like that? I need them larger. So how can we do that? I think I might just widen them up manually. So we'll see what happens. This part I'm kind of like figuring out. Henry says I'm back with a new profile picture. I dig it. All right, so that looks like it's not gonna work because it's pulling. Let's see. Let's go to scroll. No scroll effect. Adjust. No, that's not what we need. I'm trying to figure out how to. Oh, you know what? I think that's what it be. So instead of doing fluid, which makes it pull and contrast, let's see what happens if we do fixed for all of these. Try to keep things the same size. This might hurt. All right, there we go. All right, so this makes it so that everything is the same size, but now it's like over to the left or to the right. It's off screen. What I can do is I can select this entire section, adjust grid, and I can make it vertical. And there we go. I'm just pull this stuff over just like that. Make sure that they're all aligned. I can, let's say, if I just select all, oops, I didn't mean to pull that over. I'm actually really curious why I can still scroll over there. Oh, this. I'm gonna grab this container. The width should just be 100. I'm gonna center that. Could do scroll when in tablet mode or for horizontal instead of vertical. That is true. I could do that. So for example, just to showcase that, I could click on this section. I could go to scroll. I could do horizontal. I don't know why it just like smashed itself like that. I don't want to show the scroll bar. And I think the height is just too small. So we're gonna do auto. So that way, let's see. There we go. So we can scroll like that. But there's also some funky thing. I think it was the way that I did the menu. Like I shouldn't be seeing this off the side here. So I'm gonna go back to the edit site. I'm gonna come back here and fix this. I'm gonna make sure I'm selecting the right thing. This is the container. All right, yeah, we want the container. We want 100%. All right, let's fix this. Yeah, it just should be 100%. I don't know why it's making a funk out of that. All right. Let's try this preview. All right, we got that scroll. All right, so that kind of works. Go back to edit site. Now we're gonna go to mobile. All right, now this is when we're going to decrease this logo here. We're gonna keep it fixed. Now, one thing that is really awesome about Editor X that is a little bit different than Webflow, and I don't know if they changed this, but like going from mobile or desktop menu to mobile menu has always been really challenging. If you have like, you kind of have to like recreate the menu. But this, if you guys see this, like if we were to preview this real quick, this is how the menu shows up from if we were to use the desktop menu. This is not what I want. I want to switch it out for a hamburger. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna right click this. I'm gonna hit don't display. I'm gonna go to my plus button. I'm just gonna go to menus. I'm just gonna grab a hamburger menu. I'm just gonna grab it and I'm gonna push it in. And I don't need to do anything else to it. I'm gonna make sure to dock it to the right side of my, here we go. And if I click it, well, actually, I think I might need to see. It has all of my menu items that I originally made for my any what's it call it. So okay, rather than trying to explain it, here we go. How do I close this? So in manage menus, so I can go to manage all menus and make different types of menus. So if I decide at any point I make a new menu of any kind, it pulls data from this list of menus that I have in a log. In this case, this particular data piece it's pulling from is called new menu, and within new menu I have 4 menu items. Chris says I missed the last hour. It's all good. Hold on. Why is your Nest logo not inside the header? Oh, so you put your header button inside your container? No, I did not do that. Let me show you what I did. And it's a little bit different than like dev speak. So May, what you're talking about? So I have a section that has an image, which is the logo, and I have a container that holds the menu. The image is just inside the section, and it's just chilling here. It's just floating. The container I just have there to basically just get this, what is it? This gray line, and to hold these menu items here. That's it. This Nintendo thing is kind of just there by itself within this section and is docked to the top and to the left of the section. All right, let's see. So let me do this very quick. I hope that answers your question. I'm not entirely sure if it does. And then I think here we're gonna reduce the size of this copy here. We're gonna just drop it down to like 48. I'm gonna pull this up. Again, I love the grids. Pull this up here. We're gonna increase the size of that button. Oh, there are 2 Henrys. I was confused. I was like, wait, which one? I was like, who is who? All right, I'm gonna increase the size of that button, increase the size of this container. So to give you like a quick feeling of how I felt about this yesterday versus how I feel about this today, I feel pretty good about what I've learned in Editor X. I feel very comfortable. I'm like, oh wow. Because when I was doing this for myself, like just the practice yesterday, I was like, ugh, like this is no bueno. I was very scared actually to kind of come and showcase this to you guys today, because I wasn't sure I had everything. I'm gonna decrease this in size. But I feel pretty good about, you know, where this is kind of taking me today. I'm gonna go back to editing. I kind of want to see. Ooh, all right, that's where the funkiness comes in. All right, let me see if I can pull this down to be smaller so I can kind of see what's happening over here. That's one. All right, that's what we're gonna do. All right. So very quickly, I'm gonna go to my section. I'm gonna adjust the grid. I'm gonna make it vertical, just to save some lives very quickly. Okay, so Shot says, so as a fine artist, we make paintings and it sits in our house. As a designer, you can't use 2,000 strands of colors. You use 3 or 4. Things aren't as detailed, but because the functionality. You mean because of the 3 to 4 colors, you mean? The functionality of the designs people want to go on shirts, mugs, shoes, stickers, you name it. Oh, so your what is the word? You're restricted by how many colors you can use because of the functionality. With the printing, you have to think about how many colors, because each color costs. So it's a brand new way for me to think and learn. Yeah. Yeah, I really do think that, I remember when because I wanted to do, what's it call it? I, at one point, wanted to, not even at one point, I wanted to have my own, like, clothing, my own clothing line. And And let me just do the width to 100%. Why is that out there though? All right, it shouldn't be out there. And that's the first thing that I learned, where it was like, you have to be aware of like the cost of color. And so I necessarily don't. I'm not saying that this is an answer at all. But what might give you, and I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if this is an answer. But just learning how that's part of learning that business, right? It's just like, okay, well, my new clientele, they want shirts, they want this, that, and the other. What is required in order for me to actually be of use or very valuable in this business? Well, it seems that my clients need somebody who understands color, who knows how to make it cheap or cheaper for the production costs. Those things are important. So if they were to hire you over somebody else, I didn't mean to do that. If they were to hire you over somebody else, you know, what is going to be a value for them to hire you over somebody else? Like, somebody else might make producing the artwork expensive on clothes because they don't know how to utilize colors. But if you can, that's awesome. I would love Brandon Groce mug or inspirational post. I'm not going to lie. I was in the works of creating or looking for vendors for our Game Changers mugs. I'm glad to hear that, Henry. I'm also very looking forward to some Game Changers mugs. All right, I'm just reducing the size of this a little bit. I might just put in a specific, I might just do like 45. There you go. Increase this very quickly. All right, let's just check on everything. So we have our desktop. We have our tablet. And we have our mobile. There needs to be a little bit more space. All right. And there needs to be a little bit more space between these. So I'm just gonna literally just drag the two. I'm gonna just drag the section to be a little bit larger. All right, there we go. And I could increase these if I wanted to. I could bring these centered if I wanted to, but I'm just gonna keep them. I want to keep them to the size that they're at. Or let's see what happens. It starts breaking things. All right. Well, let's check this. Let's check this because I already know that there's going to be funkiness that happens. And let me go back to my layers here. All right, cool. Try Printful. Printful have an app in Editor X. Oh, they do? Hey, what's going on, Dave? What's happening? Yes, it did. Thanks, player. In other words, you do not insert a header. You just create a container within a layer. Exactly. Yes. All right. Let's see. So let's preview this. I'm a little scared. I feel like this is gonna break like heavily, but we'll figure it out. All right. So this looks pretty good. All right. We got our things. I mean, we could definitely have retracted. We can fix that. We don't need all that space between there. And I know as soon as I start resizing stuff, it's gonna start looking funky. Yeah, like right here. Like what is happening here? And up here too, that's not good. All right, so we have some things to work on. And this is probably the most, like with WordPress or Webflow, this is not a problem. I know why certain things happen. But sometimes, like with this, I'm like, why did that just happen? I have no clue. So I'm gonna try to do some of this. Let's see. Let's extend our container out just a little bit. This was literally the thing I was struggling with yesterday, and I didn't know why some of it was happening. So we'll play with it. Oh, and you know what? All right, docking. Okay, cool. Yeah, we do not want it to dock to the left. Or if we do, all right. Nope, we don't want that either. So, okay, let's try this. I want this to dock to the right, to the top. Let's see what happens. Sashat says, I love Printful. I have to check that. I have to leave that on my whatchamacallit. Hey, what's going on, Fergie? What's happening? May says, what are the main important size breakpoint resolutions out there? I remember I used to do 7 breakpoints inside of Adobe Muse. It's time to make this app smarter. I mean, honestly, I would say, I mean, to me, these are the main ones. Desktop, mobile, or tablet, and mobile. And it says here in particular, it's 1001 pixels up for desktop, 751 to 1000 pixels for tablet, and then 320 to 750 for mobile. I mean, that's why responsiveness is important, because it's not like what are the breakpoints, it's like what happens. Like, I designed for the breakpoints, right? But as soon as I start moving this stuff, it gets funky. But it's getting a little bit better, right? Okay, there we go. All right, that was a little bit cleaner. All right, okay, we're getting somewhere. But this was the one thing I could not figure out. Was this text. And you know what might help? Is there's some stuff that I have yet to really do, like this group and ungroup. I'm not entirely sure what that does. So I might do... So instead of docking to the top, there we go. That's a little bit better. So now it looks like we're just in troubleshooting land. Like, what happens? And I think this is no different than in Webflow either. Like, you have to like figure out Dave says XXS, XS, small, medium, large, extra large, extra large. So how many breakpoints do you need in between the main breakpoints so it won't look that funky? Well, the thing is, it's not like breakpoints. It's what happens to the elements responsively so that during the main breakpoints in the transition of the push and pull, that the percentages of what you're telling, like for example, I started clapping. I was getting into it. That's how you know. I was getting motivated. So there's 3 breakpoints: desktop, tablet, mobile. Cool. They look fine by themselves. But what happens when you start pulling them away? When you start dealing with responsive natured stuff? You don't design. Okay, we're going 1 pixel up a responsibility. We're gonna adjust this. No, you have to make it so that, for example, that's why you have this docking. That's why you have this fixed and fluid. What it means is, when something is stretched, do you want the particular element that you have selected to resize percentagely, or do you want it to stay a certain size throughout, regardless of its push or pull? Like, for example, if we went over to this and it's in fluid, which means it's going to stay 64% of its width depending on the container that it's within. Okay, so that means this left portion. That's why when we start to scale it, it will say it will stay 64% of wherever it's in. 64%, 64%, 64%, 64%, 64%. It resizes. But if we say fixed and we want it to only stay 603 pixels, it will only stay that size. You see what I'm saying? And the only reason it changed going to mobile and all that stuff is because it switched to fluid. We have different rules down there. But if I wanted to, I could do fixed for tablet, or excuse me, desktop, tablet, and mobile. And it would just stay that size. But with fluid, you're dealing with percentages based on where it's located. So that's the difference. Hey, what's going on, Shaba? All right, we got about 20 minutes. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm about to increase the size of. One thing I have not figured out is I don't understand why when I resize these things that they crop themselves. Like, I think that's highly silly. Let me undock this real quick. Because when I'm trying to scale this up, like, what? Oh, okay, maybe it's just because I'm pulling at the sides. Okay. I'm gonna grab this, same thing. Size up and close this. All right, now I'm gonna pull this out, make sure that the docking is A-okay for the left and right. Okay. Henry, how long have you been streaming? Like today? All right, May says you got it. All right, cool. All right, one last thing. I'm gonna pull this over kind of right about here. All right, that looks about right. All right, and I need to fix this. I need to go and push this back to fluid. All right, boom. All right, we got this. All right, that's looking good, but let me now. Okay. Let's do some of this responsive. So we have been streaming for, I think we started at 9, 10, 11. All right, so the responsive of this looks, that was much better. That was much better. I like that. And even what we did here, like what we did on desktop, it kind of fixed that. Boom. All right, that's clean. That is clean. All right, let's go back to desktop. The one thing I want to have, oh, I think now that I kind of group these together, this is actually fixed. Let's go back here. Chemicalist, hey, what's going on, man? What's poppin'? How are you guys? I'm back again, a little busy with college projects. Which software is this? This is Editor X. This is a online program we had designed in Adobe XD this Tuesday, and we're taking our designs and bringing it into. That button is getting way too big. It's getting too happy. I wonder if I just click this and I dock it to the... No, we don't want to dock it to the top. We want to dock this jump to the bottom. And so instead of, nope, see, you see that weird funky stuff that it's doing? No, we don't want that to happen. So we're not going to do fluid, we're going to do fixed. We want it to stay the same size. We're not going to have it docked to the top. We're going to leave it right about there. Keener says in the title, check it. All right, hold on. So the last part that's like funk-esque. Oh, hold on. Is this container. And I don't like that. Why did that just do all that? Okay, let's go about right there. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I don't know. Chris says, I disagree with that. All right, we need to figure out why the buy button just like did all that ugliness for no reason. I'm just gonna go back to where it was. Chris, are you an avid WordPress believer? Last question. Could I start with a 1920 by 1220 breakpoint and record that point for the next time I make another site? Man, I have no idea. Well, the thing about like websites, I mean, you can make any... All right, I gotta figure out why it does that. Hold on. I don't know if you can record, whatchamacallit, the sizing of things, but the thing is like with web development now, you can't just say, oh, I'm only gonna make sites in 1920 by 1222. Like, website, literally people do this with websites. They pull, they do this. So as soon as they come out of your 1220 by whatever, it's gonna break. So that's why, even this is still new for me, designing responsively, where like in these very strange in-between spots, like here, like I don't want this to be crammed here at all. I want it to stay like 2 lines, but I don't know what exactly I need to do, because now when I pull it out here, it's 1 line. But when I get to here, it's 2 lines, 2 lines, 4 lines. So it gets weird. So that's something I'm still learning. But when I get better at it, I will definitely report back. And this is one thing that Webflow does perfectly. Like, you don't have to mess with this. Like, you basically just say, yo, you stay in 50%. That's all you get. And to be honest, it might just be how I built it. Because what we probably could do, this paragraph here and this button, I probably should have made another container. And I think that's what we might do. I'll have to report back on this because I do have to go literally in 8 minutes. I got a call. But I think what I might do, and I'll report back on this on Tuesday, is if I go into this container, I quick add, I add another container within this, line this up, and I give this a particular, like I set this to this. Let's try this. Let's see if I can do this in 8 minutes. cut that out. I'm gonna go into this container, paste that in. Oh, I have them grouped still. All right, let me pull this container down. I might not be able to do this in the time. Border, no border. Pull this in this way. And I'm gonna make it so that this is 100% of the container. All right, let's see. And it might mess some things up. All right, okay. All right, for this, I'm gonna, instead of the top, I'm gonna keep it at the bottom. All right. I wonder why when I started doing the bottom, it started to do the weird stuff. Yeah, that's the funky thing. All right, I can't do all that in the next 8 minutes, guys. But I guarantee you that that container is probably what's going to save me when it comes to responsivity. But this is, I mean, for about, I still have to get better with the platform, guys. So again, this is just practice. I wanted to show you guys a little bit. Putting everything together was super easy. I'm very curious. I probably could get this to where it absolutely needs to be much quicker with my knowledge, maybe in Webflow. And I think Dave is probably here and he can concur. But we'll try that too. Maybe on Tuesday, we'll see where we can get with this in Webflow. I think it might be a little bit easier, but what I really like about Editor X, and granted, I'm still not the best at this just yet, I'm showcasing this to you guys. And like I said, even if you feel inadequate, try to get a little bit better than you did the day before. That's what we're doing here, and that's what I'm trying to do. Briar says, how do I live stream? You press the stream button. I have no idea. What's it called? I had just forgot how to see if I'm able to. I don't know what that means either. Hold on, let me do it. We got 5 minutes. Oh, yes. Okay, you're asking about how to stream on Behance. There's a section in, let's see. Let me see if I can find it for you. It's somewhere on Behance. Maybe it's not there anymore. But here's what I would do. Go to the homepage of Behance, scroll to the bottom, or try to find the footer, and type in, find, there's a place on the Behance live stream or the Behance site where you can go and like apply to be a live streamer. So I can't really find that right now, but. Oh, there we go. Hey, thanks, Golden Rose. Oh, man. All right, so learnings for today. We got pretty far. We did. Are there some things that I can work on? This has nothing to do with what we did today. Nothing has to do with how good or how bad Editor X is. This is all about the learning process. We did fairly well for about, how long did this take? About 2 hours. Got a little functionality happening. But we still got practice to do, guys. Still got practice to do. So I will do this. I will publish this. I'll put this in the chat if you guys want to mess around with this. Be my guest. Alright, let's see. This is the actual site. Nah, Chris. Nintendo. Yeah, I agree. David says A for effort. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think I really need to like learn this a little bit more because it seems like super easy, but I still think like some of the things like the responsiveness need a little work. But this, you know, hey. But also like things like this was a problem. Like if I put this to scroll, like that, this is the only thing that should scroll, not the entire site. So it might also just be something on my end, but, and again, we gotta learn. But I'm happy that I got a little bit more out of this than I did what I was trying to accomplish yesterday. So guys, here's the thing. Anything can be easy. We just have to practice, take the time to learn how it works, and day by day, just get a little bit better, a little bit quicker, and a little bit more efficient. So I'm a lot more educated in Webflow than I am in Editor X. So of course, doing something like this in Webflow would probably be like, done, just like Dave said. But I really am interested in seeing where Webflow or Wix takes Editor X because of some of the simplicities, especially when it comes to pre-made templates for designers who don't necessarily want to learn code. It's the next step up of customization when it comes to something like Squarespace. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, Henry's asking, how long do we have in the live left? 0. I gotta run to another, I gotta run to a meeting. So Grocebot, we got to go, my friend. Let's roll out. All right, guys. I want to thank you so much for joining today's live stream. I'm gonna put editor. Well, before we leave, I want to say thank you so much for everybody who came. Henry, Anthony, the 2 Henrys, Megan. Megan says payday. Woo! I'm glad. Thank you so much for joining Golden Rose, Anthony, Henry, Briar, Chris. Thank you so much, Kyle. And even Fergie. Not just even Fergie, but Fergie too. All right, guys, for those of you who will be in our Patreon office hours, I will see you guys at 2 p.m. EST. I gotta run. I gotta run to this next meeting. But thank you so much for joining. Do not forget to subscribe and like this video. And also, if you're very interested in getting the short bite-sized versions of these tutorials, let's say you don't want to hang out for 2 hours, for whatever reason, we always cut these videos down to 7 to 10 minutes and upload them to our YouTube. And we also have some of the in-depth stuff over on our Patreon. So if you're interested in office hours, you're interested in any of the design files that we work here with or create on our live stream, they're over on our Patreon. If you're on Behance, link is over to the right. And come join us. All right, guys, I'll see you later, and I'll talk to you on Tuesday. Peace. So, you want to be one of the hottest creative designers in the world. You want to build your talent, your skills through hard work, and more importantly, surround yourself with a team of individuals who are striving towards greatness with you. And yet you sit there and you ask yourself internally, Brandon, does a place like this exist? And my answer to you would be, of course, motherfucker, that's exactly what we are doing in our Discord. We are the Game Changer. We are a group of designers, artists, creatives that want to take our skill sets, talents, and dreams to the next level. We come together to give feedback on each other's work, give resources, and laugh, a lot of it, and help push each other to be our best selves. If you're interested in becoming the next best you, and quite possibly yourself while chatting with many friends, join your new design family today. See you there.